November is National Lung Cancer Awareness Month. It's a time to focus on the deadliest form of cancer in the United States. Dr. Samir Makhani is here, Medical Director, Scripps Lung Cancer Screening Program. We're talking about the importance of early detection. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Early detection is the key here because why are most cases not diagnosed until the later stages in this particular form of cancer? What's going on?
You know, unfortunately, lung cancer presents very late, usually. Symptoms don't really present with lung cancer until it's very progressed, such as persistent cough or shortness of breath. The lungs have a lot of reserve, and those symptoms just don't make themselves aware to patients.
How do you know? I mean, I wanted to ask you the importance of lung cancer screenings, obviously, but how do you know if you should? Because you want to catch it as early as possible, but how do you know that you need to go in and get the screening done?
So in 2014, the United States Preventive Task Force came up with guidelines and recommendations based on several clinical trials. Okay. And what those include is if you are between the ages of 50 and 80, you're a current active smoker or have smoked in the past for at least 20 years, we want you to be screened. Okay. We know this is a high-risk population, and those are the ones that usually present with lung cancer.
What about the people who worry, who grew up as kids? I just told you my dad and my grandfather both smoked most of their lives, and I lived in the household with both of them. Is that a concern? I've never smoked once in my life as a result of that, but is that something that I should look into?
Correct. So currently the guidelines do not account for non-smokers, but it would make sense, right? And so in those situations, if people have a persistent cough or shortness of breath, definitely worth talking to your primary care doctor about getting checked out.
Obviously, people have gotten lung cancer without ever smoking. And at that point, they go, what in the world? Why does that happen?
You know, 90% of cancers are related to cigarette smoking, but there are other risk factors.
Sure.
Those play with genetics, other occupational or environmental exposures. They play a role as well.
Can we talk about, in terms of the younger you are and the exposure to secondhand smoke that we've heard so much about, is that a factor?
Yeah, again, so, you know, common sense would say yes. We don't have a lot of good evidence on the degree of which that plays a role at this point.
Okay, let's talk about the screening program that you guys have at Scripps, how it works, how do we sign up, and when it happens.
So we were very lucky to receive a philanthropic grant back in 2021 from both the Oliphant and Hackett family, which led to generation of the program. It's a comprehensive multidisciplinary program. It involves primary care physicians, lung doctors, radiologists, all throughout Scripps Health. What we have set up is once you are enrolled through your primary care physician, you meet with Andrea D. Benedictus. She's our nurse practitioner. She does what's called a shared decision-making visit, which is part of the national guidelines, where she will go over the risks and benefits of lung cancer screening, talk about smoking cessation if you're an active smoker. She will then order a low-dose CT scan, which will be performed, and it takes just a couple minutes to do that. You lie down, go through the machine, and then she'll call you with the results. She'll go over those. The majority of people have no problems. We follow up on an annual basis through our database to contact you again to get that done regularly. And if there is an issue, we get you quickly referred to a lung specialist to talk about that further.
Programs have been pretty successful so far?
Yeah, so we've enrolled close to 1,500 patients at this point. We're very excited. We have over a 65% retention rate for second-year scans, which is well above the national average. And we've diagnosed several early-stage lung cancers for cure. So we're very excited about that.
Saving lives out there.
Yes.
That's what you're doing. Doctor, we appreciate everything you do.
Great.
Thank you so much for taking the time.